solving inequalities by multiplication and division. So really you're going to use the same rules, and so the stuff from the previous set of notes you need to have memorized. It's assumed you know that. The one additional thing we're adding, if you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, you must reverse the inequality. So you have to multiply or divide, and it has to be both sides by a negative number. So all those things have to take place. Let's look at number 1. So I have 16 multiplied by n is less than or equal to 8. So to solve, I divide both sides by 16. Now pay close attention here, because many people will think that 8 divided by 16 is 2. And that's not correct at all. It's 1/2. Less than or equal to 1/2. So make your number line. Of course, you can do it any way you want. You should know where 1/2 is on a number line. It should be a filled in circle, because it can be equal to, n is less than, and it's pointing at my variable, so it needs to go to the left. So it looks like that. Let's look at number 2. I have negative 1m is greater than or equal to negative 3. So I don't want negative 1m, I want 1m. So I need to divide both sides by a negative 1. Notice how I write it. I write it as a fraction. Now watch out. This is one of the things. It's going to be a quiz question for sure. You multiply or divide, so I'm dividing both sides by a negative number. So I need to reverse the inequality. So make sure you see this right here. That'd be a good thing to annotate. Negative 1 over negative 1 is 1, and that's 3. I've divided both sides by a negative number, so I must reverse the inequality. And of course, it can be equal to, so that means I fill it in. It's less than, it's pointing at the variable, so I'm going to the left. Let's look at number 3. Negative 42 is greater than or equal to 6r. So to solve for this, divide both sides by 6. Be very careful right here. You do not reverse the inequality, because I did not divide both sides by a negative number. I divided both sides by a positive 6. Just because this is already a negative has nothing to do with it. It has no effect. So make sure you double check that. Also make sure you check that you do your number line correctly when you have negative numbers. As I get further away from 0, my digits are getting larger. Can be equal to, so it's filled in. Pointing at the variables, going to the left. And last one. Negative 1/3 r is less than 21. So if you're going to solve this, here's a quiz question. It's multiplied by a fraction. You multiply by the reciprocal. And write it the way I'm writing it. Take your time and annotate this so you can see how these cancel out. Now the other thing you can check, watch out for, I multiplied both sides by a negative 3. So you need to reverse the inequality. Make sure you do that. reverse your inequality, then you can go ahead and graph it. I do not fill it in. It cannot be equal to. It's going to the right. If you have questions about graphing, make sure you come in and ask. So annotate these notes. Always watch out for that common mistake. Take the Edmodo quiz, and of course, rewatch it if you have any questions.